Hello everyone, this is Raslazel back with a Minecraft video. This time we're going over the very basics of redstone and redstone wiring specifically, and how it interacts with things around it. These are your bare bones basics, pretty much your introductory redstone tutorial. Um, this is a house I built just to have a cute little backdrop to the project I'm doing over here. Okay, first I built this to demonstrate, and you'll see the signs around the place. They're just to remind me of what I should talk about and things like that. Uh, this is the first demo. It's built basically to show how levers provide power and in what way they distribute that power. So when you flip this lever, it powers this block, which sends power to that piston. And when you flip it again, I don't know, it loses power. There we go. Now this block is attached to that piston and that piston. Now again, when you flip the lever, it will power that block, which powers both of those. Woo! Had a little frame rate issue there. Okay, and finally there's this top lever here. It's actually attached to all three of those pistons. And there you go. It sends power to all of them because they're on the block that the lever's on. Now we can use that in this way. Here you see this wire is level with that piston. Or the top, the redstone's level with the top of that piston, I should say. And when we flip that switch, the wire gets power and extends that piston. That's because this redstone powers this block. Now, as you'll see in a moment, this will not work in any configuration but this or that one over there, because the redstone won't otherwise power the block. So you have to send power to the block in order to power the piston, or you have to send power directly to the piston, which is what this setup is for. Now I'll switch over to my redstone here to demonstrate something here in a moment. Now we see that the redstone's leading directly into the piston, so at this time it runs, it will operate it. But if we do that, which is configured like that, it won't, because this redstone is not leading into that piston. So it has to be like that in order for it to get power. Over here we have the wire above example, and this is running your redstone wire pretty much above your target piston. Now that redstone will power this block, which powers that piston, like so. And the reason it works is because it powers the block. This does not power the block that the piston's sitting on in this configuration. Instead, it powers it powers its own block and would power anything sitting in front of it. And that, as I said before, powers the block, which is what you need it to do to get a piston to operate correctly. Now, a lever and buttons and things, they can power redstone wire placed directly beneath it, like so. And the easiest way to think of this is pretend this is just an entire block onto itself, and the lever sends power through there onto that redstone block, which powers all of that. Okay, moving right along. Think of redstone as a block on top of another block. That's what I just said, and the easiest way to demonstrate that is to try to place something on top of redstone. You can see they both work there. And even with that in place, they both, well, yeah, we have to flip the lever down. But they both work because the redstone is basically a block unto itself. This is to demonstrate how redstone torches work. They're a little bit different than redstone wire and levers and things in that they don't power the block that they're on, rather they power the things around them. For instance, you can see this lever will power that just fine. But if I put a torch up here, which is what I was trying to get at, if I put a torch up here, it won't power this, because it's not powering the block to get power to the wire. Instead, we'd have to do something like that, and then it would get power to it. Or we could come up here and place the torch and this little bit of redstone wire, which powers the block, which then powers the piston. Redstone torches can also transfer power upwards through that block, which in turn powers the piston sitting on top, which is exactly what the sign says, but there's a demonstration of how that works. Redstone torches can be placed on any side of the block except the very bottom, so you could conceivably have a 5-way redstone torch configuration there, and that can be handy in a variety of situations. This is just an example of redstone being completely obtuse. It's not going to power this block just because that's not the way it works. To do that, we'd have to put a block over here and a torch on the side, and it's terribly convoluted. When a torch's block is powered, the torch actually goes out. So we're sending power to the block via the lever, which will deactivate the torch. Now I could put another redstone torch up there, and it won't affect it, because it's not on the same level. And that's another thing. That's another weird thing about redstone torches, is they don't work that way. They have to be on different levels to really affect each other. Now if I put a torch there, it turns that one out instantly, because this piece of redstone is running to that block and powering it. Okay, moving on. It doesn't take much to realize that this can be an effective method of making a machine. And this is a very simple machine. It doesn't really serve a purpose right now, but it could. And it works by powering or sending a redstone signal from the lever to that redstone torch, or to the block it's sitting on, which powers down that redstone torch. And the piston retracts. While this piece of redstone up here goes out, this torch comes back on and runs power to that piston. Now, if we flip it again, we can see that the torch down here comes back on because it's no longer being powered by the lever. It powers this redstone, which powers down that torch, which removes power from that redstone wire and causes that piston to retract. Let's see here, and this is the last of our demonstrations here. Now, redstone torches give a constant output of power. This is pretty much the review. If you don't take anything away, take this. Torches give the constant output of power. Levers provide power that can be turned on and off at will. Buttons will provide a very short pulse of power. And these two are pressure plates, which provide power as long as they're being depressed. The main difference, as you probably know, is this one can only be pressed down by mobs, while this one can actually be activated by items. It can be anything. I just used a redstone torch there because that's what I had in my hand. Again, I know this is all very basic, but it's all stuff I wish I would have known about redstone power before I started the game. Well, anyway, I do believe that's it. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please click the thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, concerns, suggestions, anything like that, feel free to leave it in the comments. I will read them, and I will respond. I do believe that's it. Thank you very much.